All right, somebody found me. Thank you for finding number two, whoever you are. If you have the ability to chat, is the screen any better? Is the picture any better? Hey, Mike. Thank you, buddy. Hope you and Steph are doing well. Does it look okay so far? Everything kosher? Hi, Steph. You have a lot of friends on this channel, by the way. Once again, my monthly review came through on YouTube, and once again, 15% of the people that watch my videos are female. So thank you, ladies. I appreciate that. And if there's something in specific that one of you wants to see, the 15% of you that are watching the videos, shoot me a comment. Let me know. Yeah. Don't jinx it, Mike. Slot car ladies unite. Yes. Hey, Rusty. Sorry for the first feed. Thank you for finding number two. Yes, and more people need to get into the hobby, women wise. I mean, like I said, my buddy's girlfriend that came over with him. She watched it for the first time ever. She grabbed a controller for the first time ever, and she wants to do it again. And so I think it's just a matter of getting one of these in most people's hands and showing them how much fun it can be, and you got them hooked. Hey, Mark. All right. Hey, Fry. Thank you guys for coming back. Mark, is it better now? Can you see me? Am I circling? Thank you guys for your patience. Sorry for the hassle. Usually when I do this, I lose about 2/3 of the people that were watching the first time. So thank you for taking the time to find me again. So far, it looks good. Okay. So Mike and Steph and everybody, we've all agreed that as long as it's good, we're just gonna knock on wood. Thank you, Fry, for stopping in again, man. Long time. Yeah, hey, we got 11 of us back. Hey, I did see that I had at one point in time 25 people on there, and that just breaks my heart that I had to do this again because like I said, I just know from previous mishaps that I lose about, a third to 2/3 of the people because of this. So thank you. I know, Mark, I know you've been busy. I've been watching some of your videos, and like I said, I commented on a couple of them, and one with the magnets. I saw that you also bought some Lexan bodies, and those look pretty sweet. And I can see why, because weight is everything, and that's one of the things what we're going to talk about tonight. Hey, Zims. All right. Thank you for coming in. Sorry. Okay, cool. Very busy. Yeah. Trust me, my friend. It's been, I know you're in Canada and you guys have two things going on. You've got some seasonable heat and you got wildfires. So you're getting double dosed with crap that you really don't want. Here in Missouri, we've just been hammered with either bad weather, which knocked out power for like 18 hours, or sweltering heat with heat indexes or indices of over 110 some days. Hi, Rick. All right. Thank you. Yeah, see, I was going to ask you about that is how well they can take a beating because as you can see, I've been concentrating on the wiring. That's why you see kind of temporary, if you can see over the cars there. That's just literally just stuck in between a couple pieces of track, and I kind of wedged it there because cars were flying that way, and that way I didn't have to try to stretch across the table. Awesome picture. Cool. Thank you, Rich, for confirming. Thank you for stopping by again and finding me again. Hey, man, we're up to 12. That's almost 50% of the people came back. So thank you. That's awesome. And Rich and Rick. Okay. 102 in Texas. Nice. Uh, literally while everything was rebooting, I let the dogs outside. So hopefully they wouldn't interrupt while we were doing all this. and it's still in the 90s here, and it's 7:30. You know, very close. Probably would lose power that night. Yeah, no, 18 hours is. My parents lost it for a little over 18 hours. I was just under around 17. The slot car league Van Halen video. Yeah, man, no, he rocks out. I dig his videos. That's why I pump his slot car League of Champions. There's another one on there that, like I said, that will be on my list that I'm going to do just a video of random cars and pictures in the background, and it's just going to have a scrolling thing of everybody's slot car channel. So if you've never visited one, you can just pause it and then go to it, and I'll put I'm going to put it on a Word file basically, and so I'll be able to copy and print that in the description. So if you see one, all you'll have to do is just go down to the description, hit the hyperlink, and it'll take you right to that channel. Yeah, the tunes. Yeah, no, man. Yeah, he rocks out for sure, for sure. He's definitely the heavy metal fix for sure. And if while we're on the topic of talking about other people's videos and stuff like that, because I do promote other people's channels and encourage other people to check out the stuff, because 99% of us that are doing this for the love of the hobby and want to share our knowledge with other people or our interest in the hobby with other people. Please check other people's channels out and help them. But if you're not already a subscriber to Dan at Slot Valley Racing, go out and check out his latest video, or one of his latest videos, on him thanking my channel. And it's not for me, that is for, I want you to check out his nephew's reaction to that car. And if you listen in the background past the music that Dan has, you can hear him telling his mom that he's beaten her because he has a Lamborghini, and it's awesome. I'm telling you guys, that gives me goosebumps every time I hear him saying that, and the smile on his face. That was awesome. Yeah, he likes that Lambo. Yeah, no. Anytime, and it was like I was telling my parents that today during the birthday lunch. You know, it was something that was going to make me such a little amount of money, but it brought him such a large amount of joy that the trade-off was a no-brainer. So seeing it in person with the video and seeing him get to play with the car, that was awesome. So Dan, if you're live tonight, thank you. And if you're not live tonight and you see this later, thank you again for posting that. I appreciate it, man. No, that reaction made everything worthwhile. Hey, no, that's all it is. Hey, Jack, think you're something in. Hey, Slot Car League, we were just talking about you. I wonder if your ears were burning. Yeah, and Zim, there's another channel called All Scale Slot Cars, I believe it is, and he reviews stuff. I mean, digital 132nd, 124th, all the way down to HO stuff, and he focuses specifically on your not so common car themes, as an example. And it's really interesting to look at all the different variations of stuff that people like to collect. And to me, you know, my main thing is racing. So that's the kind of cars and the type of theme that I usually go with is race cars, sports cars, race. But he's got like TV characters or themes that, you know, just themed movie character themes or movie themes of cars and stuff like that. And that's what I like about Slot Car League of Champions is he shows a lot of sets that I would have never even considered buying, but always thought the artwork was cool. And then like seeing those fighter jets go around, that's some pretty awesome stuff. You know, the TIE fighter and the X-Wing. You know, like I said, that's just stuff that I would have never done. So to see somebody out there doing it, get to see what it did live, you know what I'm saying? And that's pretty cool stuff. And I'm glad that those people share. And that's why we need to support everybody that makes videos, because everybody brings something unique to the channel. So don't think that you're just doing another slot car thing, because you're doing your spin on it. And trust me, your spin is going to be different than mine, than Dan's, than Mark's, than Rick's, than everybody else's here. So all I can say is if you've got a channel, pump out the videos. And I'll do my best to promote you, and I know everybody else here will too. And then hopefully maybe you spring somebody else into doing the videos and or joining the HO community and getting into slot car racing. And that's what this is all about, in my opinion, is helping out the people that are in the hobby and trying to draw new people in it. And then, like I said, the more the merrier. It's one big happy family, and we all win that way. Hey, Conquest of the Racing Club, thank you again. Sorry for the bad feed on the first one. Everybody seems to be good. More sets on the way. Cool. See, yeah, we were just talking about your music choice and how we like that. And like I said, I wanted to bring up those oddball sets because you do some very cool stuff on those sets that, like I said, I invest in a different way. And it's unique to see the stuff that I would like to be able to buy, but I'm just, a small blue collar, well, not tonight, but working class guy that, I have to spend my money judiciously. And power pack. You get a 3-way adjustable power pack with the AFX Super International pack. You get 4 Mega G Plus Indy cars that will usually run pretty good. And as an example, like I said, some of the things I'm going to talk about tonight is what you see all this Auto World stuff lined up, is how body height plays a huge difference or makes a huge difference on how your car is going to handle on the track, even with bank corners. Bank corners help, yes, but bank corners does not mean that you can always go wide open, because I have cars that you after about just enough to where the magnets lose their promotional thing to hobby, because like I said, it just pumps it more into everybody else's feeds that may not have ever be interested in slot cars, and that's how we grow it. Hey, all right. Thank you, Fry. Yeah, see, cut the body post. See, there you go. Old Tyco Banks had 2 inches of extra track on the outside, so no running the guardrails. See, Rich? And that was one of the things that I pointed out in one of my other videos is, ironically, the AFX and the Tyco tracks are identically the same width. It's how they positioned the slots on the rails. And that's why, I wish, honestly, you could merge both tracks types together, so you could have the space of the Tyco and the width of the AFX Extra, because on the newer Tyco Mattel Hot Wheels Electric Racing, your outside is very small compared to what it is on the AFX, and I think that's why they moved them in. But that creates its own other issue with bigger bodied cars. Sometimes they'll want to hit if they have mirrors. So, yeah, AFX is better. Yeah. No, that's why I went with AFX. I mean, just hands down. Yes, they do, and that's Slot Car League of Champions. That's a good point. So if you do have a Tyco track and you do want to use AFX banks, then you can buy that. Auto World makes one. It's a 3-inch adapter track that will adapt your Tyco track to your Auto World or your AFX track. And I'm going to be down the road building temporary 4-lane Tyco tracks to race on those. And in order to get 4-lane banks in Tyco, I have to use AFX 12-inch banks. So that's where I'm going to be using some of those adapter pieces. So that's down the road, though. Right now, the main focus is this track. The other stuff, the drag strip's the next one, and then the Tyco track is the third one down the list. So, but a job number 1 here is to get this bad boy up and running first. Old Tyco to new Tyco. Yeah, no, they make one that goes AFX and Auto World and AFX. Yeah, see, and that's where I push the AFX version, even if you're going to expand, just simply because the AFX track is Mike just mentioned it, is held to a closer tolerance. And you guys are going to get a chuckle out of this 2 different ways, maybe, or I may offend somebody. And if I do, I apologize. It's not my intent. It's supposed to be funny. But we're going to display, as you can see here, we have several vehicles, and some of them have been opened. And that was, if you saw the description in the live part 1, it was to show that I had 3 new classes that we were going to call house classes. That basically, I bought the cars, I bought the chassis, and then basically, they're my cars. I maintenance them and everything. and there are nobody else's. And so I added 3 classes to the track because basically after running a few of those Super 7s, I'm just in love with those chassis. Those things are nice and smooth. The ability to put these Auto World bodies underneath them, which is one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about some of the stuff that happens when you do that. And I was going to show you as an example what happens if you use a standard clip versus a lowering clip on the same car with the same chassis, and how Auto World very sneakily created a whole new chassis beyond my knowledge. And if it's other people out there know, then that's beyond me. But these Hummers, these are a different wheelbase and they won't work. And same thing with the Broncos. They're a different wheelbase. So regrettably, you can't snap a Viper or a Super 7 chassis underneath one of these at all. It doesn't fit. So there's my first tip. Number 1 is if you see, and so as an example, some other vehicles that I've noticed that Auto World has this shorter, stubby wheelbase. That would be, what was it? The other ones I saw, the Broncos, the Jeeps are the other ones. So if you're planning on buying these like I did, so now I've got 2 Hummers and 2 Broncos that I'm going to end up selling. I got them at Hobby Lobby, so I got them nice and cheap, as you can see there. But I'm going to end up selling these because I have no use for them, because I'm not going to run the chassis. I can't clip anything underneath them, and it's just money wasted if I just have them sitting, because these are not going to be any type of collector that I can see in the future. So those will be going on a future auction down the road, to say the least. Yeah, Mike. Yeah, no, that's why I wanted to share that. And Sean, thank you for showing up tonight. So the first thing I want to do, so that now that we got here, I'm going to get these out of the way. Since we know, so the Broncos and the Hummers and your Jeeps are chassis that are specific only to Auto World and those specific body types. So those chassis will work with any one of those bodies, but they won't work outside of any of those, because the longer wheelbases, even on a 1.5, is too long for these bodies, and they end up hitting. So you just can't use them. So save some money there in case you were thinking about doing something like what I'm getting ready to show, but with a twist. So like I mentioned, it turned into a little impromptu kind of look what Scott's got. And don't fret, any of you that did stop by tonight, about the wiring, because I am going to cover that. It's real basic. I got a whiteboard. I kind of drew out some stuff. I was going to try to do it whenever I was underneath the table, but I couldn't get it to where you guys could see what I was doing and still get stuff done. So I just got stuff done and figured that I could do a little live stream and ask questions or answer questions. And it's very basic, guys. I mean, if I can draw it out and show you how it's done, then, and I'm no electrician. And obviously, Mark with Gale Force Raceway, the mayor, he knows that I'm no IT guy either. And that's why I had to talk with Paul at Biasu for so long to get my system up and running. And this one came in today from Terry at Hardin Creek again. As you can see, if you saw my opening video or the picture, that I got his little cards up there from the last time that we got stuff. So I got the final 4 chassis needed to complete these classes that I mentioned. And then I got 2 of the Viper in-bell kits for the motors. And then I got 4 standard height clips. to finish them off. Then I actually did some prep work so I can actually show you on a track, piece of track, what the difference is. So, first thing I'm going to do, these things off of here. Nice at Hardin Creek. Slot cars, Terry, great guy. Okay, so what we have here is the Blazing Super 7 Racing Series. And these two Blazers right here are part of their off-road series, as well as these two right here. But this is what I want to show you is these two are on the Super 7 chassis with the AFX lowering clip. And as you can see, compared to the factory height, it's a no-brainer how much lower these things sit. And if you ask me, it looks pretty cool. So here's another example. Oh, and here's some of that high quality Auto World that I was talking about. So literally I pulled this out of the package and the bumper fell off. Literally. And as you can see, the little tabs that were supposed to be melted on the back are perfect. And if you look on the inside of the body, you can see, well, you can't even see it, but see those little white dots? They missed it. So the first time this thing was even out of the package, and I'm a Ford guy, so I make fun of it. I was like, oh man, Auto World went all out on authenticity on these. The bumper fell off because it's a Chevy. Ha ha. But anyway, so, you know, I left that like that just to show everybody that Auto World still has its quality issues. But there's the Super 7 chassis. And like I said, that's with the AFX lowering clip. And that's what it does to these Blazers. And here I'm going to, now that I got the bumper back on there temporarily, I'm going to put these, you can kind of see. Look how much lower that thing sits. Here. Huge amount of difference. Super glue, yep, that's what's coming. And so that's what some of these chassis are for. Now I haven't decided which colored rims are going to go with what, because that was what I was going to show off with this purchase. Basically, is that he's got colors so that you can you know, kind of customize your cars. And this is in no way a paid endorsement. I didn't get any of this for free. This is all paid for with Scott selling cars off the auction. But there you go. You can see he's got the standard black. He got red hubs, blue hubs, yellow hubs, and he does sell a kit that you can build your own white hubs. Yeah, Ryburn, you nailed it. 4-gear chassis. Oh yeah. Oh, that's not you. Only wash and wax it, yeah. So that's why I got these other chassis right here, is to finish up the other two that I needed for the Blazing Super 7 class. So it's going to be these 4 Blazers, and then I'll simply take out the Auto World chassis and stick them back in their appropriate bubble, and then they'll get stuck in a box and put away. And then this is the fun thing. In fact, my buddy, one of the buddies that's already come over, we raced these two around a lot, even though the bumper kept falling off. And you'd be amazed on how quick you can get these Blazers to run with that lowering clip and with these Super 7s. They're pretty quick. Not obviously not as quick as like with a stock car or something like that underneath it, or an Indy car type, or something small like that is, for instance. But that's the whole idea behind these, is fun, because there's nothing funner than seeing a couple of blazers, something that shouldn't be racing, hauling ass around your track. So just an idea if you're looking for new things to spice up your club or whatever. This is a great idea, guys. I'm just telling you, it's inexpensive. You could even put Bulldog chassis underneath these and go even cheaper, and make your buddies buy their own blazers and still have fun. But that's a great idea. So I did that class, obviously. Up here, and this is a another Super 7, but this is on a stock car chassis, and that's with a lowering clip. So you can see how low that lowering clip brings the stock car down. I mean, it is just barely off the track, and you can see me through the wheel wells, so it's off the wheel wells. So it sits nice and low, and that thing handles obviously better than the Blazers. They are. That's exactly it. You nailed it. These things go barrel rolling across the track and you don't care. In fact, if you look real close, I'll pull one of them off. If you haven't noticed these with this series, they've actually dirtied them up and made them look like they've already been crashed and tore up. So even if you scratch them or tear them up or whatever, hell, they've even got little spots of rust back here. Make it look like it's rusting. I mean, it's got scratches on the roof, scratches on the hood right there, all the way around it. And so, it kind of takes away that anxiety of, ooh, I crashed, because even if you crash one of these, you're like, oh, well, hell, who cares? And it looks like it's already beat up. So, yeah. That was the whole purpose behind that. Fun, just to bring a smile on your face. Daily drivers, yes. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. See, that's what I talk fun, And then here, okay, so I mentioned we had 3 classes. So there's the kind of fun class. And then as you guys know, and I haven't seen Dave on here tonight. I texted him late and I was going live, but I haven't seen him and heard back. But I also wanted to do the Winged Warriors. And so as an example, the Winged Warriors are here. Yeah. So there's your factory height with your Auto World chassis underneath it. And then these two are the Super 7s with the lowering clip. Big difference. And that's the blue one that Dave gave me. Up to those Blazers, because those things are still fast, and even though it's fun to watch them go rolling, you can still damage the rear end, and yeah, so they're gonna play with the Tyco beaters first, to put it mildly. So here I'm gonna do like I did last time, because there's such a huge difference in height. You can see the other car behind it. See that? Trying to get them lined up as close as possible. So, and I already gave away the second one here, and that's the Viper Too Fast, Too Furious. And so these are from the Import Heat series here. And so here's the example of, you can go too low with these clips. So when I originally ordered these chassis, these were the ones that were underneath my Mustangs that were in the thumbnail, on both thumbnails for both these live feeds tonight. And I went ahead and put full V-Spec Vipers underneath those and moved those chassis to these. These have the lowering clip on it, but as you can see, it's too low. They're actually rubbing on the fender wells. They look badass, but it ain't going to work. See, you can't even see through them. That's how low they sit. So on the other side, you can see there's the standard height clips. So yeah, you can kind of get an idea there. See, there you go. Now you can see the height on the nose on the cars. So now these have plenty of room to go through. Yeah, you know, with these little import cars, you know, they're supposed to be slung low, Mark, and that's what I was going for, but that's too low. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, if you can't run your car, then it's kind of pointless. And so that's why I ordered 4 of those standard height, is so I could replace with 2 of those and put those 2 lowering clips on the other 2 Blazers. Take out the windshields. Yeah, see. So that's what I was going to show is basically how much of a difference putting one of these clips on. Then I said I'd assemble one of the cars on the live feed. So I'll just do the Supra, I believe that is. Yeah, here's the Supra. And this one, like I said, this has the Hardin Creek Viper Sportsman Series B-Spec. And the only difference is between the two, in case you're wondering, is the front rims. You'll notice this has full-size front rims on it, not the Razors. And that's why they called it the Sportsman. So, well, that's why Terry called it the Sportsman. So as you can see, this is just like every other clip from a Super G Plus if you've ever had one in the past. If you've never seen one of these before, let's get one of these out. You have a Jag under that one. Okay, yeah, see. I thought about going with some Bulldogs, but then I was like, man, you know, these Super 7s and the Vipers share, like I said, the same springs and the same shoes. You know, and I'm already buried up to my neck in parts. So this is how easy it is to do this, guys. And if you've never done this before, I believe Adam was asking me, you know, what was entailed in doing this. I don't see him on the feed. Hopefully he'll watch it later. So all you got to do is just take your old clip off. And you literally snap the new clip on. It is literally that easy. And then all you got to do is literally stick it. Piece of cake. Boy. Yeah, it clears it, but it raised it up, but not by much. That's a low slung body anyway. But at least now, here I'm going to try to get it where you can see through, but at least now you can see through the fender wells. So, yeah, that's cool. So here, we'll do the same thing with the, I think this is the RX-7, yep. There's the better look at those chassis, those wheels. And if any of you have ever done this for us, you know this happens a lot. Sometimes the clip decides to stay attached. So we'll grab out another standard height clip. Once again, just to show how easy this is. Clips right on, right where your body post would clip in, or your body mount on your chassis. And voila, now we have a car that we can run on the track. And you notice it's still really close to filling out those fender wells, which is awesome. Because unlike the Blazers, it means they're going to have a good center, you know, low center of gravity, and they're going to handle good. And they're going to handle better than the winged Warriors. But obviously, they're going to be faster just because they're Vipers. So there you go. There's a standard Viper Sportsman VR1 chassis with a Hardin Creek standard AFX clip. And I just showed you why with these particular import bodies, You cannot use a lowering clip, where on these you can. A stock, okay, so if you're talking stock that I can just buy, I would buy a Viper. If you're talking like stock like AFX series or something like that, then I would go with a Super G Plus. Hey, Scott, there he is. No, no problem, man. Were your ears burning? Yeah, Viper for sure. Yeah, dude, that's why I switched all those Mustangs over from these Sportsmans to the VRs, because I could still use the lowering clips that I already had, so I didn't have to buy more. And with those little razor front ends, the front end still clears with those bodies. So the easy way to look at it is if these cars don't look like they're four-wheel driving with a big gap between the fender well, then you're probably going to want to use the standard height clip. And if there is a big gap, like, you know, here's the perfect example. So on this one, you can see that's factory. There's not much of a gap in there. You put a lowering clip on this body, and you're going to be down on the tire, and it's going to be worthless. And then you spend $250, I think, is what these clips cost, and then you've got to spend another $250 to buy the right clip to get the thing to work. So that's why I was advised, you know, I wanted to put this out there, because I know a lot of people are buying those Super 7s, and a lot of people like me, I like these Auto World bodies. These things, I mean, I'm not an import guy, but these things look kick-ass, you know. I mean, for little rice racers, you know, I'm an American muscle guy, obviously, but, you know, I can respect everybody that races, and I think these things are going to look badass going around the track. So, you know, like I said, you know, with a Viper chassis, those things look cool. You know, the Winged Warrior class, that's going to look badass going around the track. And then, like I said, the really fun one was the Blazers. You know what I'm saying? So, good stuff. Hey, Jeff. Hey, Rich. All right, all right, all right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Cool, cool, cool. Hey, 18 of you guys here. Thank you all again. I appreciate it. So, um, like I said, regrettably, you know, I was really wanting to put some of those. I was just going to use those Broncos and those Hummers bodies with those other Blazers, and then just swap out bodies depending on, you know, what we wanted to race. So I was really disappointed those didn't work. But here's another tip for you, because not only did I find out that Auto World did that, but they've also, let me get to it. My dog decided to crawl right up next to the chair. Okay, so this was one of them that I got for the import heat, because I thought this would be pretty cool going around the track. Yes, Adam, timing system is set up and working. And so this is one that I was going to stick one of the Super 7 chassis up. Yeah, see, Mike? Yeah, I knew you'd like this. And I did open it. But like I said, this is what I do with the chassis, you know, what I do with the cars. I immediately take them out, put that there, look at it for a minute, just the way it came, you know, which is kind of cool, because these things came with the looks like Goodyear on the tires. You know, these are good looking little cars if you like the 240 series, you know what I'm saying? And I like this one because it was bright yellow and it was going to be easy to see. Hey, Ryburn, thank you for finding us, man. And I went to go put on my Super 7 chassis. Wah, wah, wah. So let's see here. In fact, I think I was planning on even using this one because it had the yellow wheels. So we'll just use that as an example. I don't even have to put a clip on the body to show you the issue. When Auto World made this body, see this lip up here that comes up underneath the car, underneath the body? It looks like to me that's the, you know, like supposed to be the lower valence for the car. If you look real close, where's the front of that chassis at? And see where it wouldn't even clip in with any clip. Dremel it, yeah. Well, that's just it, is I don't, you know, I've thought about that. We'll see. I haven't decided. Like I said, I'm going to get rid of the others, but I haven't said I'm going to get rid of this one yet because I was thinking that very same thing. You guys are a step ahead of me, but that's what I was thinking. Is it wouldn't take much to slice that around up there to make that be able to clear, and I think that'd look pretty cool. But that's just my opinion. It's an Auto Dremel, yeah. And this is one that I don't think is going to be one of those collections. Unlike the new stuff that came out with like those Bree Dobsons, oh my, I think I'm going to have to buy that set. But anyway, no, I wouldn't have any problem messing this one up, and that's why I kept it out and didn't say anything about selling it because I thought, yeah, I'm right there with you because I think if you could get this thing to fit on there, um, I think it looked just as cool as all these others, and it doesn't even have a wing, so you know you wouldn't really care about it barrel rolling down the track. And I'm waiting to see who the first person is that snaps off one of those wings because you guys know as well as I do they ain't gonna last. Or this one back here. And in case you guys didn't know, it's a two posts right there that clip in on the back, but that's not going to keep them from getting broke. So we may have a fifth car for the Too Fast, Too Furious. If I decide to, then it's going to have another Viper chassis underneath it, and then I'll have to get one of my other cars out. But not only in the front am I going to have to Dremel, but in the back too. I don't know if you guys can see the box right there, but it's hitting the little valence thing that they got back there too. So that's what's making it do the jacked up wheelie. So yeah, nothing the little Dremel wouldn't take care of. But this is something that if you went into thinking, all right, I'm going to buy a bunch of these 240s and I'm going to put a Jag Hobby, I'm going to put a Bulldog, I'm going to put a Super 7, I'm going to put a Viper underneath it, and then you spend all that money and then you open it all up and you go to put it together and then you find out, well, I'm about 10 minutes away from ever seeing this thing run on the track because I'm going to have to take the Dremel to it. This is why I'm doing that. Or you bought one of those Hummers or those Broncos or those Jeeps and you're thinking, yeah, cool. I like Scott's idea with those Blazers. That'd be cool to see those. Yeah. And then you pull it out and figure out that even with a 1.5 chassis, those are even smaller. I'm guessing like a 1.2, 1.3 wheelbase. So just a little heads up, if you guys are looking to have some fun on your track, you don't like the Auto World chassis, but you like me, guys. I mean, I have never said anything bad about these Auto World bodies. Well, you know, other than the bumper falling off the Chevy, but that's kind of funny. These things are great looking cars. It's just they don't run as good as they look, and that's the so disappointing part. If they could just pick up the quality a little bit and make their cars run as good as they look, they'd have a winner. But it just seems like they're unwilling to make that next step. So kudos to them for an awesome looking body. That's why I created these classes for them, because I just thought those were some awesome looking cars. Terry has several of these Super 7s. The reason why I like these things, guys, is because they're cheaper than a Viper, and they're about a half a second slower on my track than a Viper, fastest lap time wise with the same body, because I can clip a Viper underneath one of these, or a Super 7, or a Turbo, or a Bulldog, or whatever. They're only about a half a second slower, but that half a second means that it's a little more enjoyable to race because you're not worrying about flying off the track as much as you are with the Vipers. I know that sounds crazy when you're racing and you want to go fast, but sometimes when you race and want to go fast, you also want to race, not just go fast and fly off, and go fast and then fly off some more. And plus that takes away from the fun of everything. So that's where I can honestly say I ran a full 20 lap, what I call heat race. And I was able to hold it wide open through my bank corners all the way through the end of the heat. I'm not saying that the tires weren't dirty and the ass ends weren't wiggling, but I am saying that at least I could still go wide open without, like the Vipers, like I mentioned, 3 laps in with any one of these chassis, and there's no going wide open in those corners. You will have to let off, or they will literally take off and fly. So if you're looking for something that's just a step up, but maybe you don't want to invest all the money into a Viper, then I would suggest Like I said, really looking into these Super 7s. And if you don't want to invest that extra $10, if you want to go even cheaper, then spend 25 bucks and get you a Bulldog. Either way, any of those chassis are going to run better than the factory auto world, and you're going to have a lot more fun with them. The rack meet cars, yeah, see? The Johnny Lightning, see? Yeah, see, those are other chassis that will work with the old Aurora type clips, and that's what that's referring to, is the old Aurora type body clip on the inside. So anything that, even if they have the clips mounted or already on the side of the chassis, they'll work with these, like the Magna Traction, or in this case, you buy a clip and snap it on there. And you're not limited to the Auto World AFX clip. You can do Lifelike, you can do Tyco, and he just Terry at Hardin Creek actually just came out with the new Super 3 clip, so you can run the new Super 3 bodies on his Super 7 chassis or on the Viper chassis. Really flexible there. That's, if any of you have tried any of those Super 3 chassis, those things are a joke. I'm just going to stop right there, because Mama said if you can't taste nothing good, don't say nothing good. Don't say nothing at all. So I'm just going to say right there, those things are a joke, and shouldn't have never been released. But they had some pretty cool bodies, but they don't clip to anything. But now you can. So you can use one of those bodies, buy one of his clips, one of those chassis, and you're good to go. So, like I said, it's a good looking car. It's probably going to get dremeled on the bottom side just so I can use it. And you can see, even with the factory, X-Traction chassis, how close it is to everything in the back. I mean, we're talking super close. So do a little Dremel up here, do a little Dremel back there, and the Super 7 will fit. And then we'll have a fifth car for the Too Fast, Too Furious racing series. Yeah, sees him. I can get that. But like I said, like Mark's, it'll even back me up. It's not just holding them wide open. I mean, even though, like I mentioned, I can hold the Super 7s wide open in the banks, I still have flat parts of the track that you can't, and you still have to drive those. And those are what I call the technical parts of the track. And those are the spots where 90% of everybody wrecks, is because you do have to do your driving. And so when it gets really intense, that's when everybody starts pushing a little bit faster, a little bit faster, a little bit faster. And that corner right there is the toughest corner on my track, because it literally makes a 90. And that inside yellow lane is the one that wants to fly like an eagle. Yeah, that's it, Mark. And okay, and here's another thing. Okay, so I showed a while back in one of my live feeds, and I've talked about them on how some of my Tycos that I built, I couldn't wait to get them on the track. I'd upgraded, blah, 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 and they were too hot for a factory power pack to handle. And so I was so happy, because I could finally get stuff that I built on the track and get them running. And now I'm going to have to start playing with tire heights, because the super tires that I put on there were, they're good tires. They're just, the cars are faster than the tires can handle. So now I'm going to have to try to find a tire that can handle the speed of those chassis, which is insane, because I've got them pretty much maxed out, level 10s, and level 4 motor magnets. So I don't know, other than just dropping the chassis, what more I can do, other than turn down the voltage to keep them on the track. So it's like everything, you're going to have to tune it. Which brings me to another benefit of these things, is literally buy one, put a clip on it, put a body on it. Well, not this body, but put one of these bodies on it, and race. You're ready to go. Piece of cake. And they run like champs. The maintenance on these is cleaning your tires and oiling. Very simple. 23.6 volts. Wow. I only drive at 20 on my track, and cars are flying. I couldn't imagine going that kind of voltage. That's insane. Oh yeah, no, the dude. No, I completely agree. That's why I took the best of what I liked about different chassis and different bodies. Viper makes bodies that fit on their chassis, and You know, I could have gone Tyco or Lifelike, you know, as far as bodies. Obviously, I got a shit ton, pardon my French, of the Tyco stuff. But I do like the Auto World bodies. I just really don't like their chassis and the maintenance I'm constantly I had to do on the one that I played with. And like I said, I used my one Super 3 as a track warmer upper to, you know, kind of scrape the rails and clean the track, you know, again, because it's so slow. But I do love the looks. I mean, those are some sweet looking little cars. And even if you don't like the imports, if you're, you know, a Daytona Dodge Charger fan, those are good looking cars, you know. And then, like I said, the Blazers, that's fun stuff too. You know, like I said, I may dog on Auto World for a lot of stuff, but the one thing I'm going to give, and that is credit where credit's due, and that is they make some really good looking bodies. Now, this one I didn't buy for any particular reason other than it's their politically correct Dukes of Hazzard Charger, basically. And so what I'm going to do is what's politically incorrect, and I'm going to buy a sticker kit, water slide kit of the Dukes of Hazzard car, and we're going to do a little project car for the track, and we're going to make our little Dukes of Hazzard, show how to decal, use a decal relaxer, how to apply them, and then once they're applied, apply the clear coat so that you don't have to worry about them coming off. And that'll be a little project car after we do a lot of other things. But that was the only reason why I got that bad boy. So yeah, oh no, that's it right there. You know, and that's why you know, don't be surprised if you see some of those import cars and some of the thumbnail pictures for upcoming videos and stuff like that. So I don't see the mare on here. It will eat the decal. Yeah, that's what I'm going to go over. Is there certain clears to use and certain ones not to use? Otherwise, you've ruined all the hard work that you just did. A good point, Rich. Politically incorrect. Well, no, Jeff. I mean, I hate to say it, but nowadays we live in such a PC society that if you offend somebody, you know, they call the PC police on you. So if you saw the community post that I posted earlier today, I had a picture of the wiring schematic, which is the stuff that I'm saving for the last. If anybody, that way I could have questions and answer on it and get the stuff that maybe more people were interested in, which was the cars. You saw this Escort right here. And that Escort is on one of the Viper V-Spec Sportsman chassis with an AFX lowering clip. Now, what's unique about that Escort, Rally Escort, is that's a Auto World exclusive. There's only 1,008 of those made. So there's two things here. If you're a collector and you like collecting, no matter if it's Auto World, Tyco, like me, I don't care what brand it is. If I like it, I buy it, if I can afford it. There's the big part. If you're a collector, you're going to want to get one of these. 1,008 is all they're going to make of those Escorts. If you just like the looks of them, it's a good looking car. It's an Auto World store exclusive, which means you can't find it anywhere else but Auto World or somebody that's bought them, that's reselling them, that's marked them up. So you're asking yourself, well, Scott, why have you got it on one of those chassis if it's so rare and it's a collector? Well, you know me, I buy two. So I've got two of them. And this one is the one that I wanted to buy to race. Like I told you guys, I don't buy all the cars that I have to be shelf queens. Sometimes they're bought to race, and I don't care if they're rare or not. I know that sounds crazy, but coming from a collector, but I like to race some of the cars that I want to see on the track, and this is one of those. So I want to put this one on the track with my old original Escort and have a couple Escorts racing. If I can get a couple of the new other Escorts that they're coming out with, and I can race 4 of them on the track, you know, and do something like that. The reason why I mention those is because, like I said, 1,008 of them. But here's the best part. They're on sale. If you go to Auto World store right now, these things are less than 30 bucks. So if you're a collector, time to invest. If you're not a collector and you just like the looks of the car and you want to put another chassis underneath it like I did to see it go run around the track and have fun with it, now's your chance to buy one super cheap. So AutoWorldStore.com is the only place to buy those. 1,008 only. And those are great. And so I mentioned a couple of hobby stores tonight. But I haven't mentioned the one where I got some of these cars from, and that was ProTinkerToys.com, ProTinkerToys.com. Brian, Ryan, and the gang. So one thing, like I always tell everybody, the best time to buy stuff is when it's on sale, because that way it saves you more money to buy some more cool stuff. And that's why I sell cars to make $2 or $3, $5, so I can turn around and spend stuff for to either resell or to put into my track, or like do giveaways and stuff like that, like I did the last time. Like I said, it's all about trying to promote the hobby and push it forward. So, this is good stuff here, guys. I'm just saying that Auto World has some really good cars that even if you don't want the chassis, you can buck up whenever Brian runs a sale. Like he had that 1776 sale. I mean, you're talking less than $20 for a slot car. And even if you don't want to keep that Auto World chassis, you can sell it on eBay for 10 or 15 bucks. And then you only got $5 to 10 bucks in your good looking body. And that's cheaper than usually people are trying to sell those bodies for by themselves, brand new. Or if you're like me and you just want to keep it for later, you can. Either way. But that's a great way to take advantage of some sales, help out Brian. If you like the Escorts, check out that sale. And Brian's all the time running sales, and he does have these off-roads. That's where these off-roads came from. That's where those Jeeps, the Broncos came from, the Hummers came from. So, help him out. Keep him going. He's got a bunch of exclusives that he's releasing too that I believe are already up on his website. That once again, my wallet's already screaming. You got to go out there and check out that. He got a new twin pack. He's got a new Mayflower tractor trailer set that's going to look really good in the case that I'm looking straight ahead in front of me now. So support the guys that support the hobby. Hardin Creek, Slot Cars, Viper Scale Racing. Like I mentioned, Auto World. Believe it or not, the Auto World store, AFX Racing, ProTinkerToys.com. Slots and stuff. There's just a lot of people that need our support to stay in the hobby. Otherwise, they can just take the money and run and go do something else. Nice. Okay. Yeah. See, any auction tonight. I'm sorry. I didn't even see Dave. If you're here, I'm sorry I missed you, man. I got to talking and I can't read, and I'm a one-track mind kind of guy. I can't walk and chew gum. Oh yeah. See, well there you go. Yeah, I didn't even mention that if you're a club member, you still got the discount, and that basically good point out there, Ed. Shifting to high. Basically, with that discount, I got it for free shipping. So if you add in the free shipping discount, I got the cars for 1776 or less. Actually still got a discount on top of after the shipping. So yeah, can't beat that deal. And I can almost guarantee you that was really close to cost. Had to be. Sorry, had to catch up. So in case you were wondering about the packaging on that Escort, there it is right there. You can see right there in the top corner. Over here, Auto World exclusive, 1,008 of them only. You can see I put the chassis right back in there. Shows you all the other cars and some of the off-road rally series that you've seen some of them here tonight. Like I can see those Hummers, and there's a couple of the Escorts that I won, the Jeeps that we talked about earlier. So like I said, if you're into those Escorts, like I said, there's 2 of them right there that I'd really like to have, just to have 4 of them being able to race around the track. Because Adam had asked me a while back, what was my favorite car, of all time or whatever. And I honestly answered that it was my Escort, my G Plus Escort that I'd had, because whenever I was younger, that was my fastest car. And obviously, if it's your fastest car, it's the one you're racing all the time. So I saw it all the time on my track. So these Escorts hold a special spot in my heart. So I like the Escorts. They may look funny. They may not handle the best. Once again, it comes back down to that fun thing. I've got one of the guys here that bought one of the Viper chassis when I ordered the Vipers, like I said, to replace the Sportsman series out of my Mustangs. And he needed a body because, like I said, we're going to have a hard body Viper class. Pick your own, but it's going to have to be a full body car. and I know he's a Camaro guy, so I picked that up at Hobby Lobby for him, and that's part of the yesterday and today series they came out with. There's the Camaro. So he's going to put the Viper VR1 chassis underneath that. We'll do a little Dan, ode to Dan. Looks like the very same picture on the back. So he's going to be probably racing this one, or he's got a red version of this too. But he's like, oh yeah, well, that's a good looking car, and it is. I like it. It's got the black stripe. I don't know if you can see that. Is it? And I'm trying to get the glare away. No, I don't want to open it. There it is. You can kind of see on the top, but it's got a black stripe on the hood. Yeah, they did a good job with it. I mean, like I said, I'm a Mustang guy, but I can appreciate, they did a good job with it. And then if you remember, like earlier in the video or the stream, I talked about the buddy of mine that his girlfriend came over and raced him. I'm gonna rehash it all, but anyway, she owns an older Dodge Charger, and so I know I'm going to have to hide that one from her, or she'll want to steal it. Joke. So anyway, I got her the newer version, and if you saw Dan's video, he kind of highlighted they got the Cruiser Special Protect and Serve or whatever edition, but this is what it looks like without the police livery on it, and so that way she can put her chassis underneath it. Because like I said, guys, she's going to race with us. Oh yeah, no, dude, no. I have polished every single one of those cars, including the Blazers with the Novus, and it makes a huge difference. You can just feel the difference between pulling one of these cars out of the body versus one that I've Novused. No comparison. Feels like you waxed it, like you went outside and waxed your car. So I'm sure we'll be seeing this Dodge Charger out on the track underneath her Viper or her Super 7 chassis. I don't know whichever one she wants to put it underneath. Novus rules. Yes, it does. And then last but not least, while I was there, like I said, those aren't mine. Those are obviously going to be for the other racers that are here, but these two are mine. And I picked up a Chevy 62 Chevy Bel Air pit kit. Yes, Rich, there you go. That's why I always suggest people, little Novus tip, collector's tip, polishing tip, whatever. I spray mine down really thick and heavy, and then I rub it in and I let it sit for a couple of minutes. And then I use the same microfiber towel that I had it sitting on that I sprayed it with to rub it in more, because the towel collects a lot of the wet, the stuff that runs off. Rub it in really good, making sure it's really good and sticky. And then I get, where it's still sticky. And then I grab a dry microfiber towel and then polish that thing until it's slick. That's my little trick. That's how I get them to shine up and reflect, literally. So anyway, yeah, they got this one. This one ain't going to get built. It's just going on the wall because I like these pit kits. I've got several of them. Got one of the rare Back to the Future ones back before they were so popular now. And I got one of the Willys gassers to go on the wall. So if you can remember the last time I went there, I got me a Mustang. So now I got a couple more of the new ones. They got a ton of pit kits that have come out. So in case you guys are wondering, this is literally what I do with like I said, the chassis go right back into their case, and there you go. And that's all those. That's what those are too. So yeah, brand new bodies with brand new chassis. And then Terry, this just came in tonight or today with the Super 7s to finish off. So now that'll complete all three of the racing series of the new ones that are for the track. And once I show these cars running around the track, you'll understand. Because actually, as long as the picture's half as good as what I'm seeing here, you should be able to see the cars going around the track. Yes, dude, that was 3 more of them I'd want. How do you see the It was kind of like the bumper on the Chevy, my friend. In the package, it looked like this minus the chassis, and then as soon as I pulled it out, then the bumper fell off. So, the old looks can be deceiving thing. You knew it was already beat up. You just didn't know they took the authenticity of a Chevy falling apart on the road. And I drive a Chevy, so I can say that. Um, to the nth degree and have the bumper fall off first thing. I thought that was awesome. Yeah. No, I'll fix that just so it's all fair. But honestly, guys, if you look at these little Broncos, it's kind of sad that they don't run that good because, that's a good looking little truck. It's got the white chrome rims, got white lettered tires on it. What is that? Goodrich or something. Yeah. Oh no, those good looking little trucksters. These are look like fun going around the track, man. I'm just telling you, they are a blast. So there you can see, like even with the lowering chassis on here, I'll move the Blazers over. So there, that'll give you an example of the lowering body clip compared to no clip. So you can see it makes a big difference on the Blazers and then the stock car and the Escort. And believe it or not, even with these big old wheels on the Escort, it still runs pretty good around the track because you see that the center of gravity is like right there in the middle, and it's just barely taller than the Blazer. So, and it's still lower than the Blazer on the original chassis, which is funny. So, it'd be fun to jump it off something. Yeah. No, trust me, dude. They fly all by themselves. I don't have to worry about trying to launch them. So is there, before I got started on kind of a basic rundown on wiring and how really simple wiring is and how complicated this makes it look, is there anything that anybody wanted to see specifically? Thank you all 22 of you for stopping by. Thank you for the 20 of you that gave me the thumbs up. I appreciate that. Obviously, like I said, I'm pushing for the 1K. And now that, like I said, we got the track running. Oh, okay. So before we get started on the track wiring, I spent 3 hours on the phone with Paul with Bias Suit, and basically found out that the version since I had set up my track was 1.12.1 or something like that, and they're now on version 1.15.1 or something like that. So I was several versions of the race coordinator behind, and that's why my system, when I plugged it in, all my lanes were all jumbled up. And if you join in later or see this later, thank you again for helping me out. My lanes were all messed up. If I was in my lanes go red, white, blue, yellow, like the HOPRA, the HO Racing Professional Racing Association. They go in that order: red, white, blue, yellow. That's why you see these are color coded: red, white, blue, yellow. But if I was in the red lane, then it was timing in my white lane. And so if I was in the white lane, it was timing in my yellow. And if I was in the blue lane, it was the red. It was just all jacked up because of the outdated software. Anyway, with his help and patience and Mark's help, trying to at least get my lane colors right so I could at least see lanes, but even though I knew something was still wrong. Paul helped me fix that. And we got, so the timing system's all set up. Red, white, blue, yellow works great. Got it set up, got me set up to where all 12 of my call buttons, I'll move out of the way. You'll see I've got 4 locations for drivers, and I've got 3 spots. You can see one back there, one right here, and there's one over there. There's 12 buttons, 4, 4, 4, all wired up now. So no matter where you sit, you have power, and when you hit the button, it throws the yellow flag. And that's where I'm to the point now with I've got to call Paul back, and we've got to go back over, is because now I've got to get it to where it throws the yellow flag, but it doesn't cut the power. And so we've got to get it to where it cuts the power on the track for me. And then the next thing we got to do is since I'd purchased my system, they've upgraded or updated on how you do your segment timing. And so he's got to send me a CD on how to do that so I can use my second timing tower that you can see over there to do segment timing. So long story short, I'm this close. Basically, by the end of this week, I'll have the timing system working where if you hit the call button, it'll kill the power and throw a yellow flag. And then when you're ready to go, the same person that hit the button hits it again, and it gives a countdown, and the race starts again. And you can't move until she says, or until the green light goes, and then that's when the power gets kicked back onto the track, so nobody can false start. Pretty cool little thing, and I'll be able to display that next Saturday night. And then also, I'm going to try to get it where you guys can see the TV screen somehow without this glare from the ceiling fan lights. I may take out some bulbs to do it. But anyway, you'll be able to see the segment times on half track times and stuff like that, and speed, who's in the lead and stuff like that. If you won't be able to hear the audio. Yeah, Rich, go to Biasu.com, go to their downloads, and you can, it's in their first or second paragraph. It'll give you the version of the 1.15, whatever, blah, 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 blah. But I will tell you this, okay? Before you do that, you need to delete the other one first. Don't delete the data that you have saved, just delete the race coordinator that you have. Before, that was one of my problems I found out the hard way, as I tried to install the new stuff thinking that that was my issue, and what it did is it jumbled the old stuff with the new stuff, which made none of it work. Mark, I've got this one right here with all four. I've got one right there with all four, and you can see right there I've got one with all four. So literally, if someone sits right here or someone sits there, when they want to move lanes, all they got to do is just unclip their controller and move it over. I made these driver stations and all this myself. Oh, thank you. Yeah, no. The whole goal with this was, and these are on hinges, and I've got deadbolts underneath, the sliding long bolts. As you can see, though, with the little slop and play that those things have, it allows it to move up a little bit, which I don't like. But the whole idea is to have it on a swing hinges so that I could swing it down and get it out of the way, so that when I wasn't racing, you wouldn't have to worry about bumping into it or whatever. But the more it sits right here, the more I think that was fool's gold, and I should have just bought brackets and made an L right there. These move. I've got red, white, blue, yellow. I've just got them moved so I can sit here, I can sit over there, and all I have to do is just move one or two controllers. No, there's three controllers per lane, and I guess if everybody had that controller in that same lane, then you could play for who controls the car. But yeah, basically, yeah, three controllers for each lane. That's why I mentioned I was glad to see your video, and if you guys haven't checked that out on those TrueSpeed controllers. And I was asking you and the mayor about the DeFalcos, because I'm going to get a couple of each of those to add to my One Stop OS3. This is their IROC series. And I did notice for value for dollar, that's why I want to compare the DeFalco, and I want to get at least one of those TrueSpeeds, because I want to see if the money is worth the difference, because this thing's hard to beat. It comes with brakes, but I didn't wire, as I've discussed, I haven't wired, but I left the spot open to do it later. I just haven't got it wired for brakes. But these controllers come with brakes, and I noticed both those brands charge you extra for brakes. So that was something I wanted to see. Seems like overkill. Well, it's just this way, two people don't have to be crammed up against each other in one spot or another. It lets everybody spread out, basically, is what I was doing. In the old place, my old room wasn't as big as this one. So space was a priority. So I really could have gotten away with just two with this room. But it is what it is. I already bought everything to do it. So, might as well just get her done. Yeah, like I said, this way, if you're, in this area right here, like I said, that way people had their own space, because I actually set up little coffee tables around here, because like I said, I've got 2 desk chairs and then 2 other chairs, so people can actually sit, or sometimes we stand. It makes no difference. At the older place, everybody just basically found a spot and camped out. But at this place, we have the ability to actually move around if we want to. So, that's something that we'll experiment with. I know, me personally, that's over there in the corner is where I have my computer at that controls the system and everything. So that's where I usually sit and play. And this corner over here is one that, since it's nice and flat and it comes off a bank, is one that I fly off of a lot. So it's easy for me to catch the car. Mark, you have no idea, my friend. You have no idea. I know, since I can't really do the camera and show you guys, what I will do is during that video this week that I'm going to list all the HO slot car creators that have channels on YouTube for that video. I told you guys I do random pictures of stuff in the background while names of channels were scrolling. So if you saw something you hadn't seen before, you can go down to the description, hit the link, and go to their page. I'll put in a few pictures of what it looks like underneath there right now, because honestly, I look underneath there and I'm like, how does anything even work? Because my main goal is to get it all hooked up. Now I need to make it all look pretty and attach it, and yeah. Right now it looks like a nightmare. Mike, I got this one off of the old HO slot cars that Greg had. But now Terry at Hardin Creek has this on his page too. So that was one thing I wanted to mention, is if you guys are wanting your own schematic on how to hardwire your track. And what I mean by that is you get rid of the wall warts and you buy your own separate power supply, which you can't see it, but it's underneath that corner there. You can buy your own power supply. Mark and I have discussed this before. 35, 40 bucks off eBay. Go to Viper's website, look at the specs on that one, and then just find the same thing on eBay and pay half the price. That's what I did. And that's a really good, cheap one to buy. And then you don't even have to worry about soldering. If you're like, I have 4 power taps on my table. I've got a power tap here. I've got a power tap on the other side of the 15-inch track for the timing tower over there. I've got one in front of here on this bank, and then another one that goes underneath, that's right underneath this hillside. So I've got 4 spots on my track that get power. So like Mark Gale Force was talking about, how do you wire all those together? Well, all I did was just do a single 1 4-lane track and then multiply it times 3. So I just did 1 4-lane setup and then did it times 3. And how you do that is you just daisy chain everything together, which is a lot of wiring and a big pain. The reason why I mentioned the hard wiring and how easy it is and how you don't even have to solder, because I assume Paul and I were talking, I'm going to make a video showing my track based on what your needs are and what you want. But my point is Paul, they sell these track taps, so for your power. So all you have to do is the wiring. And I know that sounds intimidating when I show you something like this, but really, guys, it's so simple, it's not even funny. All you got to do is just take 4 and break it down into 1. Like any problem, break it down into smaller little problems and then solve those on your way out. So instead of thinking of it as big 4 lanes and all the wiring I got to do with it, think about 1 lane and the wiring that goes along with that. And then it makes it a little easier to comprehend, because then you'll just do that 3 more times and then you've got your 4-lane track set up. So you can hardwire your track with power, buying the power taps already soldered with wires off of them. There's vendors on eBay that sell them like that. Ruin some pieces of track like a master solderer, but rather than pay somebody, I wanted to learn how to do it, so I did. And believe me, after doing 4 of those, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, I did 1, 2, 3, 4. I did it 32 times. You get pretty decent at soldering. Anyway, you don't even have to worry about learning how to solder. You can buy them already done. You can buy the power supply really inexpensively. And what that's going to do for you is give you equal power all the way around your track. And I guarantee you that if you're just using one wall wart and you've got a track that is got more than 15 to 20 joints in it. What I'm talking about, joints are where the track seams come together. So every time there's a seam, that's a joint. And every time there's a seam, it loses conductivity and the voltage drops. Every way, the farther away you get from where your power supply is. And that's why I have 4 of them there, is because every 12 to 18 pieces of track, you need power. And that way it keeps the power voltage constant all the way around. Now, it's not going to stop your car from going all the way around the track. It's just not going to go as full voltage as it was closer to where the power supply was plugged in at. When you do it this way, it's all the way around the track. And so you want to do jumpers if you're going to hardwire. Otherwise, you're just kind of pissing in the wind because you're doing a lot of work, but you're not getting really the benefit of it other than being able to jack up the voltage. So take that into consideration. You don't have to do the soldering, which is a big thing that scares everybody away. And then I'm going to show you how easy it is to do the wiring. This makes it look scary. When I show you how easy it is on the little whiteboard that I got drawn out, that I drew out earlier today, you're going to laugh because compared to this is a nightmare. But the benefits of doing this are just so many that I can't even begin to express. But the main one is equal voltage all the way around your track in every lane. And then the ability of kind of like the Auto World select your voltage, being able to jack it up if you have slower cars that you want to go faster, or if you've got fast cars that you need to go slower, you can turn down the voltage. You know, it allows you to play with it just like you did. Or you got visitors coming over and you don't want them destroying your cars because you don't have, you know, runners like us, Mark and I do. So you don't want them to destroy your cars. Well, then turn down the voltage so that even if they held it wide open, you know, they can still make it around the track without flying off. So there's a lot of benefits to it. It's scary to a lot of people, but the main one is that I hear of is the wiring. They don't understand this little nightmare schematic. And then the second part is they don't want to solder the hard wire to connect the power and the ground to the track, because it is not easy. It's not for the faint of heart. So if you're a first time solderer like I was, like I said, I ruined, I bet 4 pieces of 15-inch track practicing to get it right. And once I ruined one, and what I mean by ruined is I got it so hot that it melted on the top side of the track and made a bubble. And obviously you don't want a bubble on your track. So I just used those bad pieces of track to keep practicing until I got good enough to where whenever I said, okay, this is the one that's the for real deal, then it was a whole lot easier. So practice makes perfect. If you get lucky and you get them all done the first try, kudos to you. Like I said, it took me several times of practicing, but 32 of them later, they're all solid. They're all there. Once I got them soldered, then I heat glued the wire down, heat glued over the solder connections so that no jarring or pulling can take care of them. So let me get my little whiteboard and then we'll get started on how simple to wire your track really is. Had to hurry up and race my dog. Let's see. Yeah, it's going to show. Okay. Oh yeah, Mark. No, that's, like I said, it's one of those things I'm going to do. But now you see why I kind of kicked it to the back, because I have controllers that have brakes, but with doing these stations, the call buttons, and then all the just I'm wired out. So basically, what I did was I took this sheet that would show how to do a 4-lane track, and I just kind of broke it down into one. And this is how easy it is. So remember I mentioned your power supply that you buy. So your power if you were just to do it, this is as simple as it gets. Your power, your negative would go straight to one side on your track. So that's what those are, your lanes, rails. You can see I've got it marked negative and positive. Your positive side would come over to one side of your controller, like this right here. And then it connects to the track with the other side of the controller. So your power comes in, and then it zooms out and comes to the track. So your power comes from your power source to your controller, from your controller out to your track. This is as basic as it gets. So this is, and all you do is repeat this same thing. So you're saying to yourself, well, what is this right here? That's what this is right here. So when you're making your driver station, all I did was buy screws and nuts, and you don't have to buy the plastic and do the dots and all this stuff. You just screws and nuts to come up. So you're connecting your power, which would be from a distribution block is what you're going to have to buy. Then the distribution block is going to come over to this side, and then you're going to make one from this side that would go to the power tap that you put in on the track. Piece of cake. And the car completes the circuit. There you go, Mark. And that is why when you pull the controller, it goes. Because you control the power going to the track. So this is as easy as it gets. So you buy one of the power tap tracks from somebody or do it yourself. You'll have 4 wires coming off of it. One positive, one negative, one positive, one negative. From there, you're going to run those wires to a power distribution block and then do the hookup accordingly. Yeah, see, I've got fuses at the very beginning on my power supply. Good point, Mark. Yes. I didn't point that out of mine. Always fuse your track. Always. You never know when something underneath could get hit, get moved, get jarred. If something short circuits, you don't want it to blow up your power supply. So good point, Mark. Thank you. That's something I hadn't even considered because anytime you hardwire, so I've got a fuse that comes right after my power supply on my power supply. It comes straight out, then it goes to a fuse, and then it goes to my first distribution block that starts this whole process. So the power is going to my distribution block, then from my distribution block over to here, and then from here back up to my track. Or brings you messed up to your track. Yeah, exactly. And see, that's another reason why I didn't have the ground on there for the brakes yet, because I didn't want people to accidentally do that. It's a DC car, yeah. Hey, Slot Car, thank you for stopping in tonight, buddy. Have a good night. Keep the good videos coming. Yeah, buddy. So if any of you were intimidated with wiring your track, please don't be intimidated anymore. Like I mentioned, you don't even have to solder anymore. You can buy them already soldered. You spend $40 on your own power supply. You buy, like, if you saw one of my pictures on the community post, I put a picture of underneath the track and it said wiring fun. You can buy the same color, most of the basic prime colors for your wire like I did. So every lane underneath my track, if it's red, white, blue, or yellow, the wiring is red, white, blue, or yellow. And then my grounds are either green for ground or black for ground, because I ran out of black wire and I didn't want to go buy more. So your biggest, honestly, guys, your biggest expense is going to be the wire. I can tell you that right now. You know, you would think it would be the power supply. No. It's going to be the wire. And then obviously controllers. Now that's where I was getting into that with talking about Mark and his True Speed and the DeFalco's. These are one-stop slot shops, and they're $80 a piece, or you can buy all 4 of them at a discount. He runs a sale. Don't put your car. No, don't do that either. Yeah, there's a lot of things that you don't want to do, but I just wanted to show that all I did to make wiring simple for me was I took this diagram and I made my problem, instead of 4 lanes, 1 lane. And then it became crystal clear to me on how this whole thing worked. And so this is as easy as I can draw it out. I mean, I know I'm no artist, but you get the idea. Negative goes to one side of the track, positive goes to your controller, and then the other side of the controller goes to the track. And then times 4, yep. So this is as easy as it gets. So I honestly, I would go and download this because it's a better visual than this. But this is the easiest way for me to break this down. And if you want to do brakes like Mark has on his track at Mark's Slot Car Garage, this one shows you how to wire the brakes. And I will be putting brakes on mine eventually. But for right now, this is your basic 101 wiring and how simple it really is. And now that you don't have to solder anymore, honestly, guys, you would not believe how much of a difference it makes on your track to have power all the way around that's equal and being able to control it and know it's all the way equal all the way around the track and fair for everybody to race. Does anybody have any questions on any of this? In fact, let me mention this in case I went too fast or somebody doesn't want to ask a question in the chat because they're embarrassed. I get it. You know, I'm saying it easy, but it may not be easy to somebody. And I don't want to make somebody feel bad for me saying it's easy and they don't get it. If you don't get it, reach out to me personally. I'll be more than happy to explain this and break it down for you. I wish I had colored markers. It might make it a little easier, but it is really just that simple. I can give you guys a parts list of, I went to, TrackMate is the distribution blocks that I use. And then I use the Baisu timing system. I didn't use the TrackMate timing system. And then I just bought the wiring off of Amazon, and because they had someplace had colored wire that you could pick spools of. I ran 14 gauge wire. Went to Menards and bought all the hardware. There's a place on Amazon that sells sample plastic squares of 4-inch squares, and they're really cheap. So I got like all of these to do all my lane colors at all the tracks and do the little squares for the white and the black for the controllers. I think for like less than $30. And then you don't have to build the table to even hardwire. You can still hardwire it and then have it sitting on top of a coffee table or whatever. But you will notice the difference. But if you've got questions, please don't let this intimidate you. Don't let my crappy drawing intimidate you. It's really, really simple. I'll be more than happy to help somebody. Reach out to me personally, reach out in a comment. Either way, I think that if you do it, you will never want to go back. I'll put it that way. I don't know of anybody that's wired their track and said, boy, I wish I wouldn't have done that. Yeah, it's a pain in the ass to get to this point, but once you get here, you're like, whoo, man, am I glad I did that. It's going to be one of those things you thank yourself for later. Yeah, I used 14 gauge. Yeah, I used too heavy, I'm sure. Bus wire system. What are you referring to there, Riches? Slot car room, I'm sorry. Yeah, that was part of the reason. Oh, the nuts. That's nuts. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh no. Yeah. Yeah. See, I found that out after I invested all the money in it. Yeah. No. Yeah. Yeah. No, you don't have to go 14 gauge wire. Yeah. Like they said, 18 gauge. That's just what I did with mine. But after the fact, I learned that I didn't need to do that. So it's kind of like overkill and a half. So I don't ever have to worry about cranking the voltage on my track. Plus, it may save you some money. Oh yeah, okay. So how I did mine. Okay, so I did a complete driver station one. Okay, so that's where I started. And then with those track mates, they come with 6 places to distribute. So obviously I had 4 for this driver station, and that left me 2 open spots. So I took the power and ground off of one of the open spots and ran it to another TrackMate distribution box over here. Did the same thing over here. Ran a power and ground from here to the one over there, and then everything is looped together. Everything touches. So basically it starts over there, comes around and just loops. It just big circle. I just daisy chained everything. Yeah, I like I said, I just daisy chained. So basically, from that distribution block, then I just ran a power and ground literally over to this power and ground, and then built another station, then ran another power and ground over to here, and every power tap that doesn't have a controller station next to it, they're all still connected. So no matter where you pull a trigger on my track, all the power taps are connected, and it's going to get full voltage no matter where you're at. And that was one of the things. I'm no electrician. That was one of the things that, um, it's one of those things you read and it should work, but you never know until you do. But how I knew I verified that I had the voltage everywhere on my track, no matter where I pulled the trigger, was with this little box right here. Get these things off eBay for like less than 15, $20. And if you don't have to buy one of these, you can get one of the freebies at Harbor Freight, one of their voltmeters. This just makes it really handy because you can just throw it on there. There's no holding nothing. It just, boom, you're there. Yeah, this is a real handy little box. I strongly suggest it. And then that's okay. So I found out this box actually reads a volt and a half short because I had my power supply on 20 and this box only reads 18 and a half. But it makes no difference. The whole idea is that you know that you got power. I used this when I was doing my power taps. That's how I'd hook the alligator clips from the power supply up to the track, to the wiring that I'd done, and I'd stick this thing on there to see if I had voltage on it without having to hook up a controller. Yeah, there's underneath my table right now. Yeah, it looks. I labeled everything. That was one of my little tips that I was going to suggest. If you do the wiring, even though you color code everything, even though you think you're going to know where it's at, if you're like me, you're getting older. Sometimes I can't even remember conversations that I had earlier in the day. That's where writing stuff down comes in really handy, and this is no different. Whenever I was doing stuff, one of the tips I'll give you is when I figured out which way the positive and negative ran, because they're going to alternate on your track. So yeah, it's positive, negative, positive, negative. That way, depending on how you put that positive and negative, depends on which way your car is going to go. So once I figured out which way the car was going to go, then I just put a piece of painter's tape down, and then I just stretched it all across the whole piece of the thing, and I'd write on there plus minus, plus minus, plus minus on every single one of them. That way, no matter if I picked it up and set it down, I didn't go, well, was I holding it this way or was I holding it this way? Which way did I have this going? So that was one of my little tips. And then every single wire got labeled underneath the track. Label, label, label. Yeah, I thought about doing that too, just to compare. But right now, Rich, it's been, like I said, almost 4 years since I've got to see cars race on my track. I've built whole series of cars that I wanted to race with Tyco since then. I've created whole series of cars that I wanted to race since then, and I haven't been able to race. So goal one was just get this thing running. And then when I found out the track is running, then goal two was try to get the timing system working. And then once I got the timing system working, then goal 3 is to get all the details working, like the call buttons working, all 3 of the locations where drivers could sit working, get my segment timer working and stuff like that. And then once everything's working, I know it's all good. Then I'll go underneath the table, and that's when I'm going to clean up the wiring and make it look something more than a mad scientist or a Unabomber. It works fine. Well, I've got a bajillion things covering it up right now. But next week, on next Saturday night, I am going to go live. We are going to be racing live. And before everybody shows up, I will, to make sure that the camera angle's good and people can see it, obviously, that the feed's working good. I haven't seen any complaints, so I'm guessing we're still good here. But I will run some of the cars on the track because before everybody gets here, before any race night, I always go around, I wipe down the track, and then I run every lane, warm them up, make sure there's no issues with every lane, kind of like, do the old race prep or whatever. And I'll just go live whenever I'm doing that, let you guys, chime in and see if you want to see a certain car, or see one of the Blazing Seven go around there, or, one of the Winged Warriors or whatever, hey man, I got my track running. And so this week I'm going to be doing the video for all the different creators and stuff like that. And then Saturday night I'll do the Saturday night thing. And then the following week is when we're going to start the Tyco 440X2 build up for the second part of the giveaway for the 500 subscriber, my payback to you guys for subscribing to my channel. And so I'm going to do a step-by-step on that. Terry hooked me up with the necessary parts to make a maximum performance wall wart Tyco 440X2. And we're going to build that up step by step. I'll show everybody how easy it is. Hopefully, fingers crossed, it runs better than it did factory. And that's one of the things I'm going to do is we're going to put it on the track bone stock with the tires that were on it, because I've got a brand new Kellogg's stock car, I think from 1998. So it's 25 years old. So it'll be interesting to see how fast it goes just right out of the package. See if it's better than Auto World quality. See if the bumper falls off. And then that way we have a baseline to see what kind of improvements are making, just so we see what kind of improvement just tires makes. That's going to be the first thing I'm going to do on that first live feed. Is just we're going to slap a set of gel claws on there and see what that does. Then we'll oil it, see what that does. Then we'll have our baseline. Then we are going to disassemble that thing to a bare chassis, build it back up with the new parts, put it together, put it on the track, and see what we gained. And then we'll have another giveaway video, and one of the viewers will win that car also. That's the plan. Like I said, I was going to build one like I've got built for my track, but I learned the hard way that you can overbuild a slot car for wall warts. And in case you guys were wondering, you can actually build a car with such high downforce that will actually pull the rails out of a plastic track. So, the magnets we play with are kids' magnets compared to some of the stuff that's out there. Is there any questions on how I did wire my track? I kind of basically broke it down you see how I did it. It's really simple, but like I said, I don't want to turn somebody off from asking a question by me saying that it's simple, because when I first saw this sheet, I was like, oh shit, who do I know that's an electrician? We're cruising to the magnets. Yeah. No, I have my Vipers sitting so low on, where's it at? I don't know if you're going to be able to see it on the camera, but this is the Sportsman series from Hardin Creek, the Viper VS1. I don't know. You can kind of see some rail marks. I don't know if it's going to come out on the camera. On the bottom of the traction magnets right back here. That's how low this bad boy sits. And like I said, you can still see through the fender wells. But this is on a lowering clip chassis, but you can see the body is damn near level with the bottom of the chassis. That's how low that thing sits. So your track better not have any bumps in it, or you're going to find out the hard way. The pull out. Oh, I do too, Mark. I've got some that are, I'm just saying, this is out of the box. That's how low they sit out of the box on my track. And I know what's going on is the compression, because they don't even come close to hitting on a flat piece of track. It's these softer tires are compressing, and when it's going through those banks, that's what's doing it. That's my guess anyway. Solder the joints. Yeah. Oh no, that's one thing I've learned, that if you've got your own power supply, better invest in some shoes. Like I said, I love these Super 7 chassis, but I love these Vipers too, because when I'm wanting to try to rip a lap, I pull out the Vipers, and once the track's all really warmed up, and I call it a fast track, that I'm ready to get out there and see what I can do. Just so you guys know, I pulled out my Viper VR1 or VR1 chassis that's on an Indy F1 AFX body. And the fastest that I've been around this track, and so far it's the track record, is 3.52 seconds. Yeah. Oh no, man. Yeah. And then you put that lowering clip on that bad boy, Mark. Yeah, that's why this thing looks sweet. I mean, like I said, that's slammed. So even with this top heavy thing, it still handles really good. Really good. I was impressed. And honestly, those Viper chassis, you can still, like I said, that's how I know it's got to be happening on the bank corners, because even on these Super 7 chassis, it's got little rail marks, and that they've just been on these Blazers, and you know they don't sit that low. You can still see the chassis underneath the body, unlike the other. The bumper fell off of my hand again. Like a rock. Oh yeah, Rich. See, I got yeah, they all are, Mark. 6 ohm. Yep. I haven't I just convinced everybody to upgrade to Vipers and some Super 7s, because all we've been running is our Mega G Plus class. That's why we had ran before I pulled the track down and started building my table. And that turned into a whole other nightmare that I wish I would have never done. I'm glad I'm here now, but I wish I wouldn't have torn it down when I did. I wish I would have left it up longer to have more fun with it before I decided to dive in and do this and not be able to race for so long. Yeah. Oh yeah. No. Yeah. That's why I want to get one, man. Seeing your cars whenever you did that segment on the different chassis and hearing those things just I was like, oh, I got to get me one of them. So I just convinced all the guys that race to invest the money in bodies, and here you go. There's one of the guys. He invested. He got one of those Viper VR1 chassis, and he pulled his Pontiac back end off, because this is one of the Blazing Brakes chassis. But you can see once again how low that thing sits. So this is a good running car. This thing sits low. So he bought a couple of them. He put one underneath this, and he put one underneath the Viper. And that's, both of them have the lowering clip on them. But that Firebird, man, that thing is slammed. Viper, not so much. But still better than that 4-wheel drive Viper than it had going on. So anyway, that's what he did with his. And so anyway, me getting them to invest more money, because you can see, you know, this is his Mega G Plus car he had sitting out. You know, everything that we did on that build up that I gave away is what's been done to this car. So, you know, you invest in shoes and springs and magnets, and next, like I said, you got $70, $80, and then you buy, he's had to buy a couple of chassis because, like I said, we burned up those stupid can motors. And, next thing you know, you've got a chunk of change invested in a series of cars. And so when I showed them how versatile the Super 7s and the Vipers were, how easy they were going to be to maintain, and how we didn't have to buy a whole other chassis. And then the best selling point of all the guys was being able to use the same shoes and springs and the same tires. So if you buy tires, it'll work for either chassis. If you buy pickup shoes and springs, it'll work for either chassis. And so it cuts your costs down. So I went ahead, and when I bought all these, I bought 20 sets of shoes and I bought 20 sets of springs. And that way we had them on hand. And the more you buy, the cheaper they are, obviously, the bigger in bulk. And that's what leads me to the modified version. Okay, cool. 500, a lot of 500 pickup tubes. Yeah, see, Rich, I don't have 500, but I do have like 40 of the factory ones. And then I bought 20 of the silver plated Wizards with their silver plated dual springs and the bushings and the bushing springs that are silver. And yeah, I spent a shit ton of money on those Tycos. So yeah, that's why I've got a lot of money in the Tyco 440 X2 parts. Unfortunately, a lot of my parts are for stuff that won't work with wall warts, to the point to what I want to build to give away. And then got a lot of stuff for the Mega G Plus and the Mega G cars, which we still run because we have a Mega G class that we run the Porsche 963s that I mentioned in one of my other videos. And then obviously, now that we've gone with these Vipers and the Super 7s, you're going to have to invest in some more parts there too. But the good news is a lot of these, a lot of the stuff is going to be able to carry over, like tires and stuff. And so back to my ramble there, Mark, is I can't wait to be able to get. I want to get a BSRT, and I want to get a maxed out, Viper, and I want to get both those bad boys on the track and see who's the baddest of the bad. Oh no, Rich. In fact, if you guys need parts, let me know, because I've got factory single springs, I've got factory shoes, I've got silver springs, I've got silver shoes, I've got factory brushes, I got silver brushes, I got silver springs and silver factory brush springs. Yeah, no, I got a shit ton of parts. And then tires and magnets. Yeah, I went to town. But I'm always looking for more. So if you want to get rid of any, let me know. Because the one thing I've always noticed with parts, you can never have too many of them. Never can. And the worst thing about a part is when you need one and you don't have it, and you got to wait till you can get it. So I like my 440 X2s, and obviously I like the Super 7s. I even told Terry, I was like, these things are awesome. They're just so smooth and they're easy to drive. And like I said, the Vipers to me are more for, you're getting serious. Like I said, when you got a car that you got bank corners on, and one of your bank corners is 55 degrees, and you can't hold the car wide open, then it's a fast car, if it's built right. So you still have to drive those cars, but like I said, it's more of like riding a thoroughbred racehorse versus riding like a Tennessee Walker or a Foxtrotter. Two completely different animals. Yeah, they're both horses, but the way they handle is two different things. Yes. And in fact, Mark, the next week, I'm going to order one of his big thick ones, just to see. Because really, that one's only meant for routed tracks. But I run I'll show you what those Mustangs look like. There's the Mustang with the VR1 chassis with the little skinnies on it, and that's with the lowering clip. So you can still see through the fender wells, and it's still got enough height to clear the front nose. So when you're going through the bank doesn't de-slot the car. So that's why I went ahead and put the lowering clips on these with the Vipers, and then put those Sportsman series with the import heat. And these Mustangs fly with those things. I can't wait till we do one of these races. These are the IROC Mustangs that I got, so these will stay in their lanes, and everybody will just rotate lanes. Oh man, is it really? Well, Rich, no racing action tonight. We're going to see racing action next Saturday, and like I said, I'm going to start up before everybody starts showing up to actually do the actual racing. So next Saturday night is going to be the official first race night for Scott's House of Racing. We're going to do that live. You'll see the timing system in its full force, working with the yellow flags, the call buttons, and all the bells and whistles there. And since it's crapping out on everybody again, I've been on for a couple hours, and I'll let everybody get on with their Saturday night. But I do want to thank everybody for showing up tonight. Once again, if you've got any questions on this wiring, let me know. It's not that hard. I strongly encourage you to do it. Everybody that's on this channel, thank you again. GT First ever delivered back for O-ring front. Okay, yeah. And it's a balanced motor. Yeah, I think you're right, Mark. That's why I want to check it out too. Just because I know how fast those Super 7s run. Like I said, I got one underneath this stock car body, and this is pretty quick. And I'd like to put that chassis underneath this very same body just to see the actual difference. I'm big into comparing, because once again, with that lowering clip, this thing's like right on the, it is low, but you can see through it. Yeah, the balance arm is where they're going to get you, because the only way they do that is manually. They have to manually balance those things, and they do it with a little Dremel tool. So you're paying for their time and labor to do it. But to everybody that's still here, all 13 of you, thank you for spending some time with me tonight. I hope you guys got some good information that you can use and share with other friends or other people in the community. If you weren't able to join up live tonight, don't feel like you've missed out on anything. You can still comment below on the video. If you've got any questions on anything you've seen here, whether you're a subscriber or not, you can comment, and I'll be more than happy to help you out. Look for the video tomorrow that I'm going to be doing for the slot car showcase. It's going to be showcase number 4. If you haven't checked out any of those, go to my channel page and check out all 3 of those videos. And if you've checked them out, you've noticed there's a theme with the music with the cars that are generally in the case. And the next Saturday night, I'm going to see if anybody's caught that theme yet, as a little, see who's paying attention to the videos. But irregardless, we'll get that one coming out tomorrow for Sunday Slot Car Showcase number 4. Middle to later part of the week, we'll get the video showing pictures of just random cars and stuff from maybe I took from the track when I was doing the wiring underneath the table and stuff. And I'm going to list all the slot car creators off YouTube on that video. And then on Saturday night, I'm going to come on about an hour before everybody's supposed to start showing up for the racing Saturday night. And you guys will watch my pre-race routine on getting the track ready to go. And we can throw some cars on there and look at some lap times and compare. And you guys can see, what the same body does with a different chassis as far as lap times. And that way you can kind of see, how fast one chassis is versus another and which one you may want to buy or not buy. Because like I said, there are differences in each one of them, even differences between the Viper Razor front end and the Viper with the Sportsman front end. The Sportsman front end runs slower than the one with the Razor. So it's just all in what you're looking for. But anyway, I'll quit rambling since I know the video's sucking. Thank you guys again for showing up tonight. If you're not subscribed, I'm going to plug it one more time. Please do the LSS below, like, share, subscribe, share it with your friends. Tell everybody you've got to check this guy out. He's got his track up. He's going to show some racing next Saturday night. I look forward to seeing you all next Saturday night. If you've got any questions, reach out to me personally through the channel or at scottdanielmo@gmail.com. You can call me, text me, email me, comment me, whatever you need to do. I'm happy to help. You guys enjoy the rest of your weekend. Look for the video tomorrow. Have any comments or suggestions, let me know. We'll get them out here. Take care, guys. Have a good night.